Press your elbows down into the floor and draw back. So try not to let the shoulder blades slide together, but pressing down, pulling back, and keeping space between your shoulder blades. See if you can inch your elbows up a little bit more. Maybe lift your hips like 2 inches off your heels. So elbows a little bit further forward, a little bit closer together. Take a really nice deep breath in between the shoulder blades. Create space, stretch them out, expand with your breath. And then exhale, pull your hips back to your heels, press your elbows down and draw back. Depending on how tight you are, your head doesn't have to touch the floor. Just looking for that good stretch. The shoulders, triceps. It's not about getting the chest down. More so I want you to think about rounding your spine a little. And keeping the shoulder blades separating. Elbows pressed down as you pull back. Round and curl up, tabletop. Look forward, lean forward, right into it. Your chin, your chest, your throat comes down to your mat. So shoulder tips meet fingertips. Heart is heavy into your mat, grasshopper pose. Elbow squeeze in and press back. Really plug your fingertips down and claw them back towards your mat. Or towards the center of your hand. Belly to spine. Roll your tailbone higher. Each exhale, melt your heart heavier into the floor. Slither your way through to cobra. We pause and hold. Slide your shoulders down and away from your ears. Elbows to the back of your mat. Slowly release. Take your hands a little bit wider and a little bit further back. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. So kind of like lift your knees, find an inward rotation through your thighs. Super strong legs. We come back up, slide your elbows back towards your heels. Make sure you're not wearing your shoulders like earrings, down and back. And release. Take your hands a little bit wider, maybe a little bit further back. Again, deep breath in, keep your hips on the floor, we're rising up. King Cobra. So for a second, let your shoulders sink. You're sinking into them, shoulders up by your ears, stretching out your belly. And then soften the elbows a little and do the opposite. Press your shoulders away from your ears. Start to externally wrap your elbows back, wrapping your elbows in towards yourself. Pressing up and out of every fingertip, every knuckle, like where your finger meets your palm, heart open. We go back, child's pose, hips to heels. Deep breath in. Big breath out. Round and curl up, tabletop. Walk your left hand a little bit further forward in front of the shoulder. Open up your toes to line up with your knees. Take your right arm up by your ear and really keep reaching that thumb up. Lean in towards your left hand. Don't let the hips drop and don't sink into the shoulder. Pubic bone to belly button, upper ribs in as you lean forward. Feel your core turn on. Yeah, watch that elbow. The shake is good. Keep going forward, lean into it. It's like a modified one-arm plank. 3 big circles, up, back, and around for 3. Taking up lots of space, being really dramatic about it, getting into your right shoulder. Rotating as much as you can. One more time. You take a deep breath in. Let's suspend at the top. Open up. Inhale. Oh. Just taking a little pause here. And then weave under. So make sure when you weave under, a lot of people will take up less space and you get crunchy, but then your spine doesn't have room to rotate. So make sure that your knees are right underneath your hips, or you can walk them a little bit further back. Take your left hand to the sky, or behind your back. Palm faces open on your tailbone or slides inside your right leg. Stay here or kick your left leg out. Inwardly rotating that left thigh. Staying here or starting to float, left leg up on an inward rotation. So the key to balance here is opposition. The lower half internally rotating, The upper half, the left shoulder, externally rotating, opening up towards the ceiling. Equal parts push and pull. Or you can keep your knees down and just work on that stretch, pressing away from that right arm. Left shoulder blade squeezes to spine, left collarbone opens. Slowly release. Oh, little somersault. Slowly release. Press into the floor with the left hand, open it up. Now sit your hips back to your heels, child's pose. You're weaving your right arm under you, so a little stretch. Ooh. Don't go all the way under like we just did. Keep your shoulders square. Press your right elbow down into the floor. And press the elbow down and just try to pull it out. It's almost like you're just a little traction, like you're trying to pull it out from underneath you. Feel the stretch in the right outer right shoulder, right tricep. When you're ready, take a deep breath in, reach and look up. Open, open, open. And then right hand comes down to the floor. Fingertips face you, heel of the hand faces forward. And just some little circles. Move slowly, move mindfully, stretching out that right wrist. And then slowly release. Give it a little rock and roll. Hands to the floor, tuck the toes, float the knees, pause. Inhale, tailbone up and back to the sky. Downward facing dog, relax your neck. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of like winged elbows. You're letting your elbows open up. So you always want to think, just like we do when you move from, let's do it. So from down dog, use your legs, press forward high plank, wrap your elbows back as you shift forward, that external spiral. Good, keep that spiral feeling in your arms, like you're always trying to do it subconsciously. Lift up and back, downward facing dog. Keep that feeling, elbows wrapped down. You're trying to create space between your shoulder blades. It's not about getting the chest super close to the legs. Create space. And then lift up and back. So you use the front of your legs, the power of your legs, to lengthen your tailbone up and back, rather than squeezing the shoulder blades together and pressing out of the ground and letting the elbows bow out. So elbows down, shoulder blades separate a little, just like we do when we're in child's pose. Use the power of your legs to get that length through the spine. Much better. You got it. Drop back down to your knees. Look forward, lean forward. 3 modified chaturangas. 3. And up. More forward than down, and keep your hips up. Don't let those hips drop. 2. And up. Good. Last one. Keep those arms nice and close by your side. Squeeze your legs. It's more legs than it is arms. Think about it. Good. Back to tabletop. Walk your right hand a little bit further forward. Take your left arm up by your ear. And then tilt the table, lean in. Try not to let that one hip sink down. Keep them even. 3 big circles, up, back, and around. Don't be in a rush. Take your time. Feel the left side torso stretch. Rotate through the left shoulder. After 3 full rotations, pause at the top, deep breath in. Weave it under. Left ear to floor. Check that stance, make sure you have room. You can stay here or take the hand behind your back, palm on tailbone, or slide it inside your left leg. Press away from the ground to roll that right collarbone open more. Stay here or walk the left knee right under you, kick the right leg back. You can stay there or float it up on an inward rotation. If you let that hip open, you're going to somersault and roll out of it. Inward, inward, inward.